Frontier opening bell for a brand new week starts this way on the channel. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. A very quick rundown for markets, how we finished off on Friday. The Nigerian market was just slightly down by 0.06, just a minor correction to end the third week in January. Starting today, we're going to have the final full trading week of the new month of 2023. The BRVM was 0.41% better on Friday. The Egyptian market on Sunday started a new week in Cairo by 0.33%. That's above 16,000 for the EGX 30. The Nairobi market finished Friday very strongly, nearly 1.7% to the upside, 120,427, while the GSE, the biggest exchange on the continent, still holding it around 79,000 level by 0.33% on Friday. This week, let's get into East Africa. It's going to be a very busy week as far as the monetary policy decision is concerned. In East Africa, William Ruto has expanded Kenya's budget by 7% to about 3.64 trillion shillings, while Somalia, it says, is replacing 1,000 shilling notes to fight illicit fund, fight inflation, tame excess liquidity within the Somalia's financial system. The Nigerian Central Bank is doing exactly the same thing. The deadline is the 31st of January. The CFA franc in Central Africa also has done a banknote swap just at the start of the year. So we'll see more central banks across Africa changing high end of the denominated currency, all to tame illicit money laundering, to fight inflation, as well as excess liquidity in the financial system. And Somalia's central bank is the latest on that list that is growing by the day. In the meantime, the Kenya Treasury is looking to end the bailout of the troubled Kenya Airways by December of 2023. It's just one more full year, and the government will most likely this time back out finally from Kenya Airways, whose shares has been suspended or remain suspended on the Nairobi Securities Exchange and a few other exchanges across the East African region. Kenya Airways is looking for a massive bailout, if possible, from the government. But new investors have been a little bit very sluggish in throwing additional billions of shillings into Kenya Airways. Very iconic brand airline, not just in Kenya, but across the African continent. Ethiopia has appointed a new central bank governor and a few top officials. This news came late last week. Prime Minister Abiy appointed a new head of the central bank. A Mauritanian multinational IBL group is setting up its expansion, or what we call the footprints, in Kenya, East Africa's biggest economy. So let's touch down in Nigeria. The President, Muhammadu Buhari, will today commission the Lekki Deep Sea Port. It's part of a number of activities that Mr. President will be conducting in Lagos, Nigeria's economic and financial nerve center, over the next 2 days as President Buhari begins to wrap up his activities ahead of the February 25th elections and formal handing over on May the 31st this year. So he's commissioning quite a few projects across the country. He's been moving around the country more recently. He has about 4 or 5 different projects he'll be commissioning in Lagos, including a multi-million-dollar Imota rice mill down Lagos here. That's one of the largest rice mill on the African continent. The new Naira notes will be coming into effect. It's already into effect, but the full implementation, the full transition is on the 31st. The central bank sources say over the weekend that they will continue to sensitize everyone across the country on how to identify genuine new Naira notes and counterfeit, as well as other measures around it. That will continue until March, and there could be a deal with the banks and other mobile money operators and digital payment operators as far as the transaction cost is concerned. That much we gathered over the weekend. The central bank monetary policy meeting, the first in 2023, is taking place today, tomorrow. We expect the central bank governor, Godwin Emefiele, to speak to this as part of his briefing, post-MPC briefing tomorrow afternoon. We're going to bring you that as when it happens tomorrow, and then we'll report back to you on Wednesday. The G20 framework, creditors are on board to support Ghana's debt relief. That's according to sources from the Paris Club. While Senegal is looking at the overall deficit, trade balance of about 3.471 billion CFA franc as at the end of November. And the Nigeria Republic says it's been able to raise about 33 billion CFA franc on the West Africa Monetary, in T-bonds on the West African Monetary Union financial markets last week. Okay, let's see what's going on in Southern Africa. Not pretty good news, as it were, because Eskom, the troubled utility, says South Africa will continue to have power outages at least for the next 2 years. That will definitely have serious consequences on Africa's most advanced economy and one of the biggest on the continent. The decision on Thursday, the January 26th, is whether the South Africa's Reserve Bank will raise rates by how much. Not that it's going to raise it, but how much? 50 basis points or 25 basis points? Economists are still scratching their head as to how the SARB will decide. And Angola's investment forum was held at the weekend, Saturday and Sunday in Luanda, while the South Africa will have a bit more economic data out this week. The rate decision, as you know, is on Thursday. The PPI data, which is producers' price inflation or factory gate inflation data, will be out. A price data will be out this week as well. And for Standard Chartered of Zimbabwe, the takeover deal is on the table. Report says at least 5 entities have submitted bids to take over Standard Chartered Zimbabwe. When that deal is concluded, we'll have the result for everyone to look into who will be the new owner and what the horizon looks like for Standard Chartered Zimbabwe. And finally, in North Africa, and touching down there with a few headline stories with the EFDB, the African Development Bank, projecting North Africa's growth to stabilize at 4.3% in the current year, 2023, where Morocco's House of Councillors have okayed a bill. The country can self-produce electricity. In the meantime, Morocco and Brazil, the biggest economy in South America, says their trade volume hits over $3 billion in full year 2022, while Tunisia's A3 Assurances, which is an insurance company, says it's reaching gross written premium for the fourth quarter of last year, which is October to December, was about $15 million. And those are the headlines as we start the new business and markets week. We thank you very much, everyone, for watching. You can watch this show again if you go online on our YouTube. You can subscribe. It's free. And of course, you can go on www.frontafricareports.com and follow us on all the social media platforms. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone. And I'll see you later in the week. Bye for now.